as I am about the final season overall, but I'll talk about the season as a whole in a separate video. First, I need to take a deep breath and calm down. I need to calm down after watching this finale. This video is not really an episode breakdown, but more like my first emotional reaction after watching it. So let's begin. And the moment I started recording, we got hit with an insane rainstorm outside, maybe symbolizing the tears of the fandom. For some reason, a reason the writers will never explain to us, Fringy is unbelievably obsessed with a-holes. So much so that it stops being funny and becomes slightly uncomfortable. Sister Sage tries to provoke Kimiko and gets blasted with energy in return, loses her powers, becomes stupid, and suddenly happy. We've known Sister Sage since season 4, which is long enough for us to understand that she always had a plan within a plan about how everything would end. And then we see her go out in the most anticlimactic way possible, something like buying chips at the supermarket with the same tone. Yeah, she's not the main character, but it still felt incredibly toned down. Before watching the episode, I read a lot of leaks, and one of them claimed that all the budget was saved to be invested into the final episode. Supposedly, we were meant to see Homelander giving a speech, realizing nobody believed in him anymore, and then starting an absolute bloodbath. Then a massive battle between the boys and Homelander would begin, causing huge destruction, not only to civilians, but to the entire city. In the promo materials, we saw the destroyed water tower and Homelander watching the burning world from space, and that would have fit perfectly into the events of the episode, not to mention the destruction of the White House. That's why I actually wanted the leaks to be true, just so the finale would at least feel catastrophic in scale. But as you already know, in the actual episode, we barely damaged the carpet and wallpaper and the Oval Office. Now let's move on to Ashley. The boys sneak through secret passages in the White House without a map and without even considering that there might be sensors or traps everywhere. Huey is supposed to be the tech expert, and the others aren't exactly rookies either, but they're literally infiltrating the White House, arguably the most protected place in America right now, and somehow nobody thought about basic safety measures. Why didn't Huey and Emma, who are ordinary humans, at least wear body armor and helmets? They look like they are heading out to buy some candy to the nearest store, not killing one of the most dangerous soups in the entire world. And then they walk right into a trap like complete idiots. Ashley sees this, and for some reason, instead of being disappointed by their pathetic attempt, she enthusiastically lets them continue because apparently she believes that this group of children without armor or a real plan can somehow take down Homelander. They couldn't even handle their senses and the trap, and Homelander is supposedly much stronger than that. The only thing I liked about this scene was when Ashley got lost and the other Ashley told her to go right, meaning to do the right thing. Moving on, Starlight sees the deep and throws him onto some random beach, but she has no idea that he recently had a falling out with the sea creatures, so why move him there? To give him a chance to escape into the ocean, to give underwater creatures the chance to help him and maybe even kill Starlight. Doesn't that feel way too convenient for the plot? Now, put yourself in Starlight's position. Right now, you are on the most important mission imaginable. Your boyfriend is a regular human trapped inside the White House, the most heavily guarded place in America with a homeland nearby. He has zero protection, and instead of helping him, you spend an absurd amount of time chatting and fighting with the deep. During the fight, you risk being killed by him, plus you're near water, where his aquatic friends could also kill you the second you accidentally end up in the ocean during the battle. Again, Starlight has no idea the sea creatures turned against him. Why not just throw the deep out of the White House and leave him somewhere far away? He can't fly. He wouldn't get back quickly, but no. Instead, we end up on a beach next to the water, the single most convenient place for the deep and the most dangerous possible location for Starlight. Another thing that annoys me here is that, first of all, Huey could have died because of this, and second of all, Starlight never actually participated in the fight against Homelander because of this. But she had such a long history with him. He threatened her for multiple seasons, killed and hurt people close to her, murdered her ex-boyfriend Supersonic, and threatened Huey. Does only Butcher have narrative right to beat up Homelander? And fine, maybe she doesn't have to kill him. That character arc really does belong to Butcher, but she literally arrives after Homelander is already dead without landing a single hit on him. That felt deeply unsatisfying. Alright, let's keep on going. The boys finally get into the Oval Office and the fight begins. It could have been way bigger for a series finale, but I genuinely loved seeing Ryan and Butcher fighting Homelander together. Emiko tries to use her powers but can't, and then we get probably the most cliche superhero moment imaginable, the kind of thing the boys used to mock relentlessly, but now they play it completely seriously. French tells Kimiko that she shouldn't use her powers through anger or grief, but through love. And suddenly, like in a Barbie adventure cartoon, it works. Homelander loses his powers and begs for mercy. Butcher smashes his skull open with a crowbar, just like in the comics. Honestly, I personally would have loved for Homelander to suffer longer without his powers. I wanted him to live as an ordinary human and suffer every single day. I wanted his life to become exact thing he despised and terrorized his entire life. But okay, I'm also really disappointed they didn't include a scene with Stan Edgar watching Homelander's actions with disgust like they did in the comics. The boys celebrate their victory in a very modest way, and then Butcher discovers that his dog Terra is dead. And honestly, I really don't understand his next move. He sees his dead dog and then decides to kill every sheep on Earth. What? I expected this moment because there was something similar in the comics, but I absolutely hated the setup. Terra died. Guess I'll murder all soups now. In the leaks, Homelander supposedly killed Terra, which caused Butcher to snap. That would have made sense, but here it just felt so strange to me. If I missed some important logical connection, please tell me in the comments. So, Butcher tries to spread the virus, but Huey kills him. Butcher dies looking finally freed from the burden he could never let go of. The grief would have lived inside him forever because nothing could ever bring Becca back. But now he's finally at peace. Honestly, that's a good ending for Butcher. And yet, I still feel sad about it because for 1 second I really believed the creators might let him survive. So, where does everyone end up? Ryan. To me, Ryan is an incredibly tragic character. In this episode, he is living completely alone somewhere unknown. Then Homelander shows up and traumatizes him even more with his speech. Afterwards, Ryan realizes his father has completely lost his mind and decides to fight him again. He doesn't know the boys are already there. He flies to confront Homelander entirely alone. When everyone gets knocked unconscious by Kimiko's blast, Butcher doesn't even check whether Ryan is alive. Then the others arrive and immediately run down at Kimiko, while MM only checks on Ryan much later. After that, Ryan gets hurt emotionally by Butcher again. I know the show tried to imply that Butcher was repairing his relationship with the kid, but both as a viewer, and I think Ryan himself can feel how little Butcher actually cares. And so, this lost child once again disappears alone into the night. The actor playing Ryan was already around 16 years old during filming, but if we ignore real world production gaps between seasons, the character of Ryan should still be no really older than 11. Well, and that's just incredibly sad. The next time we see Ryan, he is attending Butcher's funeral, and God, this poor kid never gets a single break from suffering. Sure, you could say MM took him in, but Ryan is basically grown already. MM isn't really going to raise him. Ryan's almost an adult, so they're never going to become some real family. Ryan will probably stay with them for a year or two and then leave. Honestly, he could probably leave even now. That's why it feels like this finale gave Ryan absolutely nothing good. Even MM's wedding is really MM's moment, not Ryan's. Ryan never got a personal happy moment of his own. Maybe he could have reunited with Newman's daughter in the finale. I was convinced we'd get that scene, but once again, no. I just wanted something personally good for Ryan. He's such a deeply tragic character. That poor child has been through so much. Okay, Kimiko, I honestly have a feeling they kept so she can appear in future spin-offs like The Boys Mexico. MM. I am happy for MM, though it's still strange that Ryan was handed over to him. I hope he can at least show the kids something close to a normal family. And I pretty much knew Starlight would continue fighting crime, while Huey becomes that guy from action movies who talks into her earpiece telling her where to go and what to do, and where danger is. Starlight is pregnant now, so congratulations, I guess. It's kind of weird that she and Huey decide to continue fighting crime when she's already heavily pregnant. But okay. And they decide to name their daughter Robin. Okay. Finally, I've told you everything, and now I can literally sleep peacefully. I'll probably go through many more stages of processing and analyzing this show, and I'll definitely make some videos both about the entire series and about each season separately. The Boys gave me both joy and disappointment. I still don't understand many of the decisions the creators made during the last 2 seasons, but right now I just want to say goodbye to the show and thank you. Thank you for giving me emotions for so many years. For a long time, this series was pure escapism for me, and now I feel a little lost. But hopefully, there are still many interesting things ahead. And this very second, the rain has started once more again. Maybe it is a good way to say goodbye to my favorite show. Please support me with a subscription, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.